On April 1st of 2011, I was at work. It was a great work day. Headed to a meeting where I had all the answers. As I entered the room, I was asked a question right away, and I said, oh yeah, well, first off, blah, blah, blah. And second, and as I touched my finger to answer the second part of the question, I collapsed and went into a full cardiac arrest. A cardiac arrest is ventricular fibrillation, where your heart is just vibrating. It's not really pumping oxygenated blood to your brain. When you're in that state, your chances of survival will decline about 10% each minute. The only viable method to treat that situation, that condition, is an electric shock from an AED or a defibrillator. In my situation, I actually had the luxury of having a coworker right next to me who knew CPR. It was April 1st, so they thought I was kidding. But when my body started to seize, Tom Farley, my CPR angel, he grabbed me and he says, Rob, I put you on the ground as softly as I could. Well, that means he threw my big self on the ground and started CPR, but he started it immediately. Remember that. His CPR went on for several minutes until an AED came. Unfortunately, the AED didn't work. After they took the AED off, he resumed compressions. Those compressions by Tom lasted 7.5 minutes. It's a marathon. It's an eternity for CPR. But that early CPR is what now has been obviously shown to have saved my life. That CPR kept oxygenated blood going to my brain and keeping my brain alive to where I can function the way I do now. Knowing the survival rate drops 10% every minute, I got my first electric shock by EMS at 8 minutes, putting my survival rate at about 20%. Had that CPR not been effective and immediately started, I don't think I would be here today. The most important thing you can do to ensure that you and your family are safe is to get CPR certified. Get trained, even if you don't want to pay for the certified class. No, I wasn't asking anybody for a CPR card, believe that. But get trained, be aware, know where the AEDs are. If you don't see one in a building that you go to a lot, ask where they are. CPR is imperative. The AEDs will save people, will save lives. CPR saved my life. Early defibrillation saved my life. That's how important they are.